Hello, how are you guys? So, here we are, Monday, March 30th, and today we start a new unit. We're going to start our lesson today by reviewing how to multiply monomials and then extending that into multiplying polynomials. So if you have not done so yet, you need to make sure that you download chapter 6 in your textbook, and then by Wednesday, chapter 7 as well, because we're bouncing back and forth between both of those. So I think you've got them both downloaded. If you don't, make sure you do. All right, so let's start first with reviewing what a monomial is. It's either a number, a variable, or a combination of those multiplied together, right? What you don't find in here is addition or subtraction. So these are monomials. Polynomials then are going to be the addition and subtraction of monomials. So something like 7 plus a, or 3x minus 2y, or even 4x squared plus 2x minus 3. These are all polynomials. They have more than one monomial added or subtracted together. Well, we are going to take groups of these and we're going to multiply them. So let's look at our first example. We've got 7a squared bc, that's one monomial, times 2ab cubed. That's the other monomial. So here we are multiplying two monomials. That means there's only one monomial there and one monomial there. So we say this is a 1 by 1 multiplication. So what I want you to do is I want you to draw a square. And actually I'm going to move that down one line. And you're going to put the first monomial right here. And you're going to put the second monomial up here. And then just like those old-fashioned multiplication charts, let's see, I don't know where my fingers are going now, but anyway, you just multiply what comes into the same box. So you're going to multiply 7 times 2, which is 14. You're going to multiply a squared times a, which if we remember from back in February, when you multiply variables that are the same base, you actually add their exponents. So this is going to become a cubed. B times b cubed is going to be b to the 4th. And then c just gets brought over because there's nothing to multiply by. And so that's your answer. 14a cubed b to the 4th c. Okay, not too hard, right? Let's look at our second example. We've got 3a squared b times 2a plus 3ac. Well, if you notice, this first one is a monomial. There's just one monomial there, 3a squared b. No plus or minus signs in there. But this second one here is a binomial. There are two monomials adding together in there. So we say this is a 1 by 2 multiplication. So again, you're going to draw a square. Actually, this time it's going to be more like a rectangle. And what we need to do is we need to put our first monomial here on the left, 3a squared b. But then on the top, we're going to make a square for each monomial that's part of that binomial. So there needs to be two squares here. You've got 2a, which is your first monomial, and then you've got 3ac, which goes on the second box. Now we multiply that the same way we did the first one. So you've got 3 times 2, which is 6, a squared times a, which is a cubed, and then b just gets brought over because there's nothing to multiply it by. Now you've got to go that next step and multiply it by the second term in that polynomial. So 3 times 3 is 9, a squared times a is a cubed. B and C just get brought in because there's nothing to multiply them by. Well, now to write your answer correctly, you have to look and see, is there any like terms within this box right here that you need to add together? Remember, like terms have the same variable with the same exponent. We don't see that here because the second term has a C in there. So that makes it a completely different term. We can't add them, we can't combine them. However, you're going to write this down as a polynomial. Your answer, therefore, is going to be 6a cubed b plus 9a cubed bc. And that becomes your answer when you have this multiplication. Okay, you guys are getting this. Let's do the next one. We've got 3a times 15a squared b plus 2a squared bc minus 2a. Okay, what do we have? We have one monomial, and then if you look closely here, this is a trinomial, or 3. So this is a 1 by 3 multiplication. Draw your rectangle. It's only going to be one row because we have a monomial. But then the box is going to be broken into 3 boxes because we have a trinomial that has to go on top. 15a squared b, 2a squared bc, and then remember this negative here goes with that term, minus 2a. Now you just multiply. We get 45a cubed b, 6a cubed bc. Don't forget your negative on this last one, so that becomes a negative 6a squared. Okay, look to see, are there any like terms that we can combine? There aren't, so we just write it out as our answer, which is 45a cubed b plus 6a cubed bc, and then because this has a negative sign with it, it's minus 6a squared. All right, last example before you do some practice. 2x minus 3 times x squared minus 2x plus 4. Okay, this is different. We actually have a binomial here multiplied by a trinomial. So this is going to be a 2 by 3 that we have to draw. So now we've got to draw a rectangle that has 2 lines to it. There's the 2 lines, and that each line has to have 3 squares in it. So again, we take our first term here, 2x, our second term below it as a negative 3, and then going across the top, we've got x squared, we've got a negative 2x, and we've got a 4. Multiply each one individually. So we've got 2x times x squared is going to be 2x cubed. We've got 2x times negative 2x is a negative 4x. 2x times 4, I'm sorry, that's a negative 4x squared there in that box. I almost missed it. Then in this last box, we've got 8x. Now do the next row. Negative 3 times x squared is negative 3x squared. Negative 3 times a negative 2x is a positive 6x. And then we've got negative 12. All right, now that you've got your rectangle filled in, we've got to look for like terms. If you look closely at this rectangle, you're going to see 2 sets of like terms. You're going to see some x squareds, and you're also going to see some x's. These have to be combined as you go to write your answer. So 2x cubed doesn't have anything to combine with, it just comes down. Now let's look at our x squareds. You have negative 3x squared and a negative 4x squared. When you add these together, you get a negative 7x squared. Now look at the pink ones, 8x and 6x. When you add this together, you get a 14x. And then the negative 12 doesn't have anything to combine with, so we just bring that down as minus 12. And there is your answer. I hope that made sense. What I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and stop this video, and you're going to go on to the next video where you're going to do some practice.